This is a tough video, dude. It really is. Like, I don't even know where we can go with this conversation because all the player comparisons, all the guys from the past, from different historical points in WHL data, there's nobody who can compare. And so, when it comes to this video topic, asking a very simple question, the answer is a lot more complex than that. Connor Bedard, first overall pick. How many points does he get next season? And I was initially going to make this video an expectations for video. You know, we made the same thing about Adam Fantilli earlier on Friday, expectations for Fantilli, and I said at the beginning of that video, the easy topic is to talk about Connor Bedard. But I didn't want to do that right away because Fantilli, I felt, had a lot more of an underdog aspect to his story that made it more intriguing to me to explore first. But it's Sunday afternoon, we're doing the thing, I'm on vacation still, I'm pre-recording this video, and I wanted to talk about Connor Bedard. Get into some of the numbers, talk about players who have been here before, the very few who have done this in the past, and just try to map everything out with the Blackhawks, where they're at, where his line mates are going to come into play, and just get into everything Connor Bedard for 23-24. Because when it comes to my favorite mod on the YouTube channel, he's definitely going to give us a show. But before we get into that, I wanted to give a shout out to the sponsor of today's video. If you've ever thought, why in the world is my wireless bill so darn high? Then let me tell you about Mint Mobile, whom I'm partnering with for today's video. You might already know Mint Mobile if you've seen those funny ads from Ryan Reynolds, who's also an owner. Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for as low as $15 a month, and you don't have to sacrifice any coverage, speed, or data. They're built on the nation's largest 5G network. They keep costs low because they sell direct to you online, cutting out retail stores and salespeople. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code if you're interested in the best value in wireless. All Mint Mobile plans include unlimited nationwide talk and text, plus lightning-fast 5G and free mobile hotspot. They also have a modern family plan. It's super affordable with as little as 2 lines. Make the switch with their digital eSIM cards from the comfort of your own home. And if your phone isn't eSIM compatible, Mint will ship you a new SIM card for free. As an extra special offer for my channel, if you sign up before July 14th using my link, you can get their unlimited plan, which is normally only $30 a month, for just $15 a month. 50% savings. Use my link mintmobile.com/lego to get started, or click the link in the description, or scan my QR code. It helps out the channel. It only takes 15 minutes. It's really that simple. So last season in the WHL, Connor Bedard, as a 17-year-old for the entirety of the year, by the way, it's not even his birthday yet. He's still 17. He scored 143 points in 57 games played, 71 goals, 72 assists. And numbers like that just don't come along anywhere. In fact, if you go over to the WHL and its history, Connor Bedard has the 3rd highest WHL season for a 17-year-old ever, and he's tied for the highest points per game. Now, that is unbelievable because the other guys around him, Rob Brown, Reggie Leach, Yaremchuk, these guys did their thing in the 80s and the 60s. There is nobody even close to the 2000s who produce like this. In fact, if you go down further, you have guys like Pavel Brendel, Joe Sakic. These were all very highly touted players when they were draft eligible. Jim Benning was in this conversation too. And Joe Sakic didn't even play in the NHL after getting drafted 15th overall by the Nordiques in 1987. He played another year in the Dub before coming over and doing his thing. So for Connor Bedard, there literally is no statistical point production based comparable player in the WHL's history who has done what he has done. And the only guy who does have the same points per game, Rob Brown, who was a Kamloops Blazer in 85-86, he didn't even play in the NHL the season after. He played one more year, getting 212 points in 63 games in the Dub. Now, for Connor Bedard, I mean, if he played another year in the WHL, he probably would have the same points too. But for Rob Brown, just in case you wanted to know, his rookie season in the NHL, which happened when he was 19, had 44 points in 51 games. He also had 115 points in 68 games with the Penguins the season after, so it took him 2 seasons to get 100-plus points. Now, Rob Brown isn't an NHL legend. He had spent a good chunk of time for the rest of his career in the IHL, the eventual AHL, etc., etc. But when it comes to Connor Bedard, the only other guys we could actually bring up while having it make sense are the other first overall players who ended up doing very well out of the gate. You've got McDavid, who in 45 games played had 48 points. Crosby had 102 points in 81 games. Ovechkin had 106 points. Kane had 72. Matthews had 69. This tweet, by the way, was posted by the Ray and Dregs Hockey Podcast. It's just a nice little graphic that I think visualizes things very nicely. Matthews, Ovechkin, and Kane each won the Calder when they suited up in their first years. Crosby, of course, did not win the Calder because he was going up against Ovechkin. There was a lockout when Ovechkin was drafted, so he didn't play right away. McDavid didn't win the Calder because he had gotten injured by Brandon Manning, leading Artemi Panarin to winning the race with his very stacked numbers by playing with Patrick Kane himself. So for Connor Bedard, this is sort of the territory of guys that were in that same sort of class of hype and potential first overall status, etc. Even if you map out McDavid's 48 points in 45 games over the span of 82, that reaches roughly, 48 divvy 45 times 82, that reaches 87 points on a year, which is pretty good, all things considered, but what is the consensus here? If we go over to some tweets, this is what the Bar Down crew asked on social media. How many points do you think Connor Bedard will have in his first season in the NHL? You've got a bunch of people saying 70, a few people saying 80. You had Jeff O'Neill, O-Dog, the guy on TSN Overdrive, saying 100, and this tweet got a lot of views because, wait a minute, he's projecting a 100-point year? And the crazy part is, when it comes to how Bedard has played the past few seasons, how he played at the World Juniors, and what this means heading over to a Chicago Blackhawks team that's going to give him all the opportunities in the world to do what it is he needs to do, if Connor Bedard does get a 100-point year, I don't know if it's really going to be that crazy. Like, sure, if he gets 60 points, 70 points, people are gonna be like, okay, yeah, like, that's expected. This guy was so gosh darn good, he was touted to being this good right away, that if he gets 60 points, I feel like people are expecting that. No more first overall bust rookie years like Jack Hughes or Alexis Lafreniere, who both produced very poorly compared to other first overall picks rookie seasons in the past 2 decades. We had made the videos over the span of 2019-20 and 2020-2021 saying that these guys produced at poorer rates than all the other first overall picks had to the late 90s, pretty much. Connor Bedard is supposed to go out there and break that. I feel like that's the sentiment that a lot of us slowly have sort of accepted as our reality. Then you had yourselves a bunch of people saying, okay, 70, 80 points. I feel like if he gets 80 points and he wins the Calder, because he's probably going to be able to win the Calder with production like that, it's going to be sort of in the realm of, all right, yeah, that's a pretty good season. But if Connor Bedard gets 100, I feel like it's going to shift a lot of the perspective on this guy pretty quickly. Because in order to get a 100-point year, you kind of have to be on pace to doing that for the majority of the season. If it's the end of November and Connor Bedard is scoring at a 100-point pace, I feel like that's when everybody's minds are just going to click and say, all right, yeah, hands are up, he's that good. Like, he's already a superstar. Bring it back to Sidney Crosby, everybody, because Connor McDavid did not have that chance to do so. Crosby was a beast. Ovechkin was a beast. Both rookie seasons, 100-plus point years. That doesn't happen. Like, ever. So, for Connor Bedard to go out there and do something similar as Jeff O'Neill is suggesting Bedard is going to do, then, you know, if there's going to be a guy to do it, Connor's that guy. You also had yourselves Bleacher Nation Blackhawks ask on Twitter the top 5 rookie point season totals for the Blackhawks since 1980. Larmer with 91, Roenick with 84, Panarin 77, Savard 75, and Patrick Kane 72. How many points will Connor Bedard have? 32% of the 439 voters say that Bedard will have 70 to 75 points, which is actually the lowest number on here. 20% of Chicago Blackhawks fans that voted on this poll think he's going to have more than 91, so maybe approaching that 100-point territory. But still, 20% of a fan base saying that a guy is going to get 90-plus points, That's insane. Those are unrealistically high expectations to place on a current 17-year-old, but if there's any 17-year-old that you're appropriately allowed to place expectations like that upon, Connor Bedard is that guy. Now, we've got a few minutes left to go in this video. Let's go over to the Blackhawks lines. Connor Bedard is projected to play with Lukas Reichel and Taylor Hall. If they wanted to really spice things up, have Hall and Bedard play with Corey Perry and see how that works out, because Perry's going to be a physical specimen that makes sure that nobody touches Bedard. I'm only half kidding, by the way. So, when it comes to Taylor Hall, we know he's very talented. Lukas Reichel's a young guy on the up and up. If there really is some chemistry to develop there with Reichel and Bedard, this rookie season in 23-24 could be the start of something extraordinarily special in Chicago. Not that you needed me to tell you that, because Connor Bedard has been breaking records and doing all this stuff at the World Juniors and the WHL forever now, that all we gotta do is go out there and watch. As for me, though, if you wanted my opinion, I'm saying very conservative. I'm gonna say Connor Bedard, 65 points. Let's just be very, very conservative here. If he gets more than that, I'm not gonna be surprised. I just don't want to be disappointed. Always go into things with low expectations. That way you can never be disappointed. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How many points is Connor Bedard going to get? 100 plus, 90 plus, 80 plus, or does he have another season like the Hughes and the Lafrenières and he gets maybe only 30? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this British Charles 99, and bye.